So let me first start off by saying welcome to everybody. Welcome to everybody who's responded to this and you're here. And this is a Q&A session, question and answer session. As you can see, it's a diverse group from different countries. Y'all have at one point or another come in contact with us as Amkeni-Bantu or Bantu Tokoista group online or in contact with some of the participants who may be here or not here. And you responded probably to the call for this open house so that you can come in and have your questions answered if we have the answers. Um, Not by me, but by everybody in the group. You know, we're just your hosts, and this is a session for you. So today we're going to start off with any questions you may have. Okay, before we in the group introduce our own questions. And if you have a question, you can raise your hand. I'll see you visually, or you can put in a Q in the chat so that I can know the order that the questions are coming in. And without much further ado, I will go to Tene. Is that how you say your name?
Yes, Tena Samudo. My
Okay.
first name. I'm Bamaleke from Cameroon. I'm actually going to Cameroon in a week. But
Okay.
I read in a well, just yeah. Let me introduce myself.
Sure.
Just small. I won't make it a whole like sermon. But but basically, I read in a book. Throughout my life, I had a lot of questions, and then I read in a book that my tribe is from descended from Issachar. And
Okay.
then like after leaving the promised land, I was like in the land and then I left. I then afterwards discovered I was one of the chosen people. Like
Okay.
only after I left.
Okay.
So and then I kept researching and researching. But anyways, my question is the people that I was reading Joel today, Joel chapter 3, it says the ones in the diaspora, basically the ones that were sold in Deuteronomy 28,
Hmm.
from my understanding, most of them are Judah,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. hmm
So, but then I was reading from another pastor that is awakened, or Pastor Stephen Darby. I don't know if people know him,
Hmm.
but he was saying that basically, I'm trying to understand who in the land is not uh, Israelite for like, or or the son or the chosen. Because Pastor Stephen Darby basically said, like Egyptians, like the Sudanese looking people, and like not to go by looks, but Sudanese and Cushites,
Yeah.
like like Ethiopian. So from my understanding, like when the Queen of Sheba met King Solomon,
Hmm.
it was basically someone like what today we would say an Ethiopian meeting a like a Bantu Negro type person, right?
Okay.
Okay. So I just want to understand because not every single person in Africa is a from the line. Okay,
Yeah.
so I just want
All
to
right.
okay.
All right. I can take a stab at that. I think I might be the other person here that is born in the land in addition to Tembile. So I'll try and give you some response to that. And I think I got your question. Who is not the chosen ones amongst those who
Yeah.
are in Africa or in the land?
Mhm.
I think that's your question, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So there are three main groups in Africa, three main groups of people. There is the Nilotes,
hmm
there's the Kushites, and there's the Bantu. Okay? These are the three native groups of people in Africa. You will find a few others that might not be classified within those three groups. For
hmm
example, the Khoi Khoi and the San people that you see in the movie The Gods Must Be Crazy.
Right.
You will also have the Twi people, or the pygmies that you find in the Congo. Okay, they might be not be classified within those groups, as well as the Hadza people in Tanzania. They are considered like the Twi and the Khoikhoi and the San. Now, out of those three main groups, the Nilotes, Kushites, and Bantus,
Mm-hmm.
the Bantus are the descendants of Jacob. And the Bantus make up about two-thirds of the people in Africa. Africa is estimated to have about 1.4 to 1.5 billion people. Two-thirds of those are Bantus. They are also referred to as the Niger-Congo family group of people. So
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have from South Africa, you have, I think, 11 or 12 Bantu groups. The Venda, the Shona, the Isiklosa. Tembile, help me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Um, in West Africa, you have the Igbos, the Yorubas, the Benin people, the Akan people. I mean, there are over 1,200 different tribe names in Africa. Okay. In East Africa, you have the Kenya, the Kikuyu, the Meru, and so on and so forth. How do we know that it is the Bantus who are the
Mm-hmm.
descendants? First of all, we have a lot of linguistic evidence. When you compare the scriptures, for example, you may know that um, Isaac was
Mm-hmm.
named Isaac, which was referring to laughter. Because
Okay.
when the Most High told Abraham and Sarah in Genesis 17 and 18 that they would have a child, they both laughed at different
Mm-hmm.
instances. When the child was born, Sarah said, because this child has brought laughter, because every time somebody will see this child, they will say, is this the child that you had at such an old age? And
Right.
people will laugh about it. The scriptures say the child was called laughter or named after the laughter that the parents laughed. Now, the word Isaac or the name Isaac does not mean laughter.
Mm-hmm.
The English word for laughter is laughter. But if I ask Tembile here, and if you can hear me, Tembile, please tell me, how do you say laughter in your Bantu language in South Africa?
Okay, I am Zulu.
Okay.
So how the Zulus say laughter is ukuhleka.
Ubu, say that again, please.
Ukuhleka is laughter.
Okay.
And to yes, and
Ukusheka.
Okay.
and to laugh is hleka.
Keka.
Yes, hleka.
Thank you.
Hleka.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
To laugh in my Kamba culture, I'm from East Africa, Kenya, is edeka. Edeka. Sounds
Mm-hmm.
close to uku sheka, what she just said. If more people join in here, hey, Kathy from Kenya, welcome. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Hey, Kathy, tell us in your language, how do you say laughter or laugh?
Ideka.
Edeka. So I hope you all can see the
Okay.
similarities.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that word ideka, okusheka, iseka, isaka, they were trying to translate laughter from our Bantu languages. So
Sound
just
like Isaac.
like Isaac, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they wrote as Isaac. And this is just one example of linguistic evidence,
Yes.
right? Now we can go into biological evidence, and I encourage you all to look for this online. Uh, Genetic sequencing has identified that all black people on the planet have two genetic markers. For the lack of a better, I'm not a scientist, but I'll just use the term bloodline or DNA or a marker to explain. And they've created a global map.
Mm-hmm.
And they've shown that there's two predominant blood groups or DNA types, if you want to call it. E1B1A, E1B1B.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And whether you are in America and you're a descendant of the slaves, or
Right.
whether you're in Africa, or whether you're in India and you're another descendant of the slaves, you belong to one of those markers. Now, what is interesting is that I have looked this up myself, and I encourage anybody to look it up. What is interesting is that I have not found to date any evidence of
Mhm.
descendants of slave trade, whether in India or America or wherever outside Africa, who were from the Kushites or the Nilotes by DNA. They're only descendants of the Bantus.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
And that was our curse. We were to be punished 7 times in Leviticus. So we've been slaves. I don't know if that, because I think we've been slaves 7 times, because there's a huge gap, a 400-year gap from Malachi, the last book in the Old Testament, to the New Testament. Sorry, I studied
Yeah.
theology in
It's
college.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Good job.
studied my history. I don't even like saying theology. Like I studied like our history.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, 400-year gap between Malachi and the New Testament. But
And-
but
Okay,
like
go ahead.
Oops.
I would think that
What is it?
you're hiding like obvious, because if you do this, I think they were hiding like maybe the Babylonian captivity, right? The current captivity.
No.
And because in the scriptures, once you actually start to read the scriptures, when you know where the right characters are, you're like, wow, it's literally our history. Like
Yes.
because even in Africa,
He said, no, I'm Josh.
in camera, like even when it says you'll be cursed by the gods of wood and stone, right? What are the most practiced religions amongst the Bantu people? Christianity and Islam, wood and stone, right? So it's not only the American slavery, which is Deuteronomy 28, right, which is Judah, but it's also the Arab slave, the stone too. That's one of our slaves. So then I was like, oh my,
Hey,
I'm sure
Tene.
everyone here had the epiphany at one point.
Tene, for the benefit of some, I think I understand what you're referring to as wood and stone, but just break
Yeah.
it down. Please break it down to somebody who might be hearing this the first time.
Sorry, I'll go specifically. So when we were given the law, we were given choices. You choose life or death, right? And he said, hey, if you obey, right, all these good things will happen. If you are bad, if you disobey, which we did, you'll be punished 7 times. But he said I'll go to the specific verse, but you'll be punished by the gods of wood and stone that can neither hear or smell. And that is Christianity and Islam. Because when I was in Christianity, they always like spiritualize everything. But if you look at things like the scripture, like read it for what it is and cross paths with real history. No Ashkenazi convert was a slave on a ship ever in history. That's Judah. That's American. Like really, they've never been transported through slavery ever.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
So
Right.
why do you say Christianity is the gods of wood? And why do you say Islam is the gods of stone? That's a part I want you to break down so that somebody who's hearing this the first time will get it.
Okay, so more or less, if we know who the right characters in the scriptures are, then you can interpret history and understand the prophecies, right? So if you understand the prophecies, you understand history and vice versa. So I like to look at organization or any type of religion by the fruits. I look at it by the theory. Right? You can say you practice love, but I just know by your fruits, not by what you tell me. If you look at Christianity, it is by genocide and slavery. if you take out and politics too, like it was like the whole Roman Empire over after they stole our scrolls, they didn't change by like miracle, they changed by a political conversion, right? It was just like, hey, Constantine said, you are the now we're like one day it's like Donald Trump saying, hey, we're a Muslim country now. It was just by decree. It wasn't by love, right? It wasn't by miracle, and it wasn't by being fruitful and multiplying. It was by politics, genocide, and slavery.
Mm-hmm.
So match that to colonization, and then even before what now we're learning about the Arab slave trade, right? So the Arab slave trade, right, was the god of like how like Islam spread through the. It's funny because when I study Islam, they would say all these bad things about Christians, and when I study Christianity, they would say all these bad things about Islam, and they're both true. If you take out genocide and slavery from both of those faiths, they almost can't exist.
Okay.
So you have to look at the fruits, not what they say. You can say you're a religion of peace, but look, just take out these like the titles and be like, how did your religion spread?
Yeah. And what's the symbol of Christianity today?
A cross. A
And
cross.
what is it made
cross.
of? What is it made
and,
of?
and a wooden cross, like, right?
Yep.
And then the symbol of Islam, right? Like they'll say maybe they don't have symbols, but if you take away the Kabbalah, one of the iron, the made of stone,
yep,
it's a major part of their faith. So because if in the scripture it's not going to say the God of Christianity, then you just not name your religion Christianity.
Yep.
But it symbolizes the faith.
Yep.
Right.
So they do have
that big stone that they walk around.
Yes, in Mecca, that is the God of stone. Yeah.
Well, there is they have a name for that place, that building. It's a building. The square-shaped building, but there is a stone inside that all the people who go on pilgrimage try to get to see. You go put your face in some little contraption and you look inside and there's a stone inside and it's called the Kabbalah stone. I don't know the story about that stone. It has something to do with Muhammad, their prophet, right? So it's revered, you know. So when the Most High said to our forefathers in Israel that, or our forefathers, the Israelites, Isolele, when he said to them, as a curse, you will have foreigners who will come who speak languages that you did not speak, and these foreigners will bring to you gods of wood and stone. This is the introduction of Christianity and Islam by foreigners, you know, as a religion. Because think about it. Abraham wasn't a Christian. Neither was David. Neither was Jesus. You know, even Muhammad was not a Muslim. The religion was started after these people, right? So the people of modern times, not really modern, but from whenever they composed Christianity, you know, the Roman Empire, Constantine, or even before that, when they started calling the followers of Christ Christians, which is a synonym for the word, the N word, by the way. When they started calling them Christians, now they were creating a religion and branding them as such. Okay, let's go to the next question. Anybody else got another question? And welcome, Corna from South Africa. I hope I'm saying your name right. Koena from South Africa. Good to see you. Welcome, Sister Sandra, my neighbor. Hope you're doing okay.
Yes, great.
All right. And any other questions? Raise your hand or just put a Q and we'll go to your questions. All right, Tembile, go ahead.
Thank you. My question has to do with the feasts that are recorded in the Old Testament.
Okay.
And it's two questions, really. Is it important for the Bantu people to keep the feasts? And if it is, then when do we keep these feasts? Is there like a restored calendar that we can follow in order to observe and keep these feasts? Thank you.
All right. You have asked a very good question. Does anybody want to try and respond to that? I don't want to be the only one responding, but I do have an answer. Anybody else who might want to respond to that? Go ahead, Sister Vanessa. Oh, you're on mute. Sorry. Let me ask you.
Okay.
Go
I
ahead.
follow Robert Hatley, and he
Okay.
said with the feast, they're pretty much like a memorial that you got to remember them because the Most High gave them to our people, because our ancestors, they was able to actually follow them and actually to do them. We could not do them because we're not on the land with the Most High. And today we don't have prophets. So what we do is a memorial. I do the feast days according to the calendar that Robert Hatley provide, and I follow it. That's how I do it. But I know when it comes to the Passover, we wasn't actually there during the time of the real Passover. So to me, it's a memorial that I set up, and I just say, okay, well, this day I'm going to do the Passover according to his calendar. And the Feast of Unleavened Bread, I do bake the unleavened bread for 7 days and eat the bread, and just set up a memorial to remember what our ancestors had to go through during the time when it was real. But now because we are descendants, it's hard to recreate what they did back then. That's my take on it.
All right. All right. Excellent. Good answers. Michael, go ahead. Thank you, Vanessa.
I was going to say the same thing sisters just said. Yeah, actually, yeah, and I tried, I think it's probably been maybe 2 years now. It's getting better and better. I try to keep it up with it. And now having a computer, having a calendar on my computer, now I'm trying to get it on my phone so it could be like everyday following. But sometimes it catch me off guard. Like yesterday was like double Sabbath. Sabbath, new month. But that's all right. I'll get it.
Yeah.
And get it.
Thank you, Michael. Yes, thank you. I also follow the same calendar produced by Robert Heatley. His channel is also called, I think, Black Re-Education TV. That's where you can download that calendar. You can download it and integrate it with your calendar on your device as you wish. I follow that calendar because of all the calendars I have come across, this is the most accurate one and most consistent one in the sense that you're not going to be changing the days or the dates. Like the way if, let's say, your birthday was you were born on a Monday, and some years your birthday is on a Tuesday, the following year it's on a Wednesday. This doesn't happen with this calendar. And I know that they produced that calendar based on the Dead Sea Scrolls, which they've established were actually discovered in South Africa, but then later on moved to the Middle East where they claim they found them. Okay, Mama Matuzola, back to you. Go ahead.
I think Matweety had her hand up first. Matweety, are you there?
Okay. Oh, she seems to have.
She might have stepped
Okay.
away.
Yeah.
But anyway, and keeping with what the Sister Vanessa said, I do acknowledge those feasts because though the feast days, we were never given holidays, we were given feast days. And these ordinances that the Most High gave us are heavenly patterns that have been since Enoch. They are heavenly patterns, and they will never change throughout eternity. They will never change. But of course, once we came under Christianity rule, we can't keep no matter how hard, I'm going to put it like this, no matter how hard I would try to keep them, I'm not going to be able to, not with accuracy. And the reason I say that is because when you start talking about the feast days, you have to take into consideration kingdom, because that was a certain people that was given this, not the whole world. A certain people were given the mandate to keep these feast days. And so in order for these people to obey the laws of the Most High and keeping those feast days, the kingdom has to be in place, the priesthood has to be in place. All these different elements have to be in place in order for us to keep these patterns, these laws with accuracy, because we don't now. We can do the best we can based on what some things that's, pointed out to us in the scripture, but we can't do it the way, by the order. I'm talking about the order, the pattern of the Most High, because he was very specific in these things. He was extremely specific in how to keep the feast days, and we don't have that. So we can try and we can acknowledge that it does exist, and we can try to follow the patterns, the calendars, and this and that. But until the kingdom, it is my belief that until the kingdom is restored and we're put back together as a nation, and we have our priesthood, and we have all these different parts in place, we won't be able to do it, not with accuracy. But that is not to say just ignore it and say, oh, it don't exist. No, it does exist, and we should acknowledge Ngeta.
Ingeta, thank you. All right, Mama Shelley, go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Matondo. I just wanted to add with what everyone is saying. It is true that the feast days are very important and we ought to keep them. But I just want to also add that as Tembile is on the land, that is even more important and vital for you, because you have a privilege that we don't have. We are still in the diaspora, and so we cannot keep it like you can, as Mama Matazola was saying. So we can observe it, we can remember it, but we cannot keep it. We have people on the land that keep them. In Angola, they're actually doing the Feast of Tabernacles now and so on. So these laws and feast days are still kept. And they're kept on the land because you are there. And so you can do it. So you can follow the calendar, like Elder Mutabi was saying, and you can keep the feast days. You can connect with our people. There is a group in South Africa. I think you're in South Africa. Elder Mutabi would be able to get you in connection with our church in South Africa. I think Pastor Kize is there, Elder?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
That's
So
correct.
yes, and you'd be able to keep the feast days with them, and it would just be wonderful. But we have to wait till we get there. But you can go ahead and enjoy them and keep them and commemorate them, because it is very important for us as a people, as a Bantu people. Ingeta.
Ingeta, thank you. Thank you so much, Sister Shelley. Now, I want to welcome Royal Daughter. Royal Daughter is dialing in from Angola. My sister, my elder, can you hear me, Royal Daughter?
Sorry, I can hear you. It's a lot
Okay.
of commotion.
All right. When you have the opportunity and you want to speak, we would love to hear from you, and you can tell us how things are going on in Angola. Welcome. And welcome to Mama Margaret as well, and Benika and whoever else you're having a great time with down there. Let me add to the question that Tembile asked. And I will add and say this. When you read the book of Leviticus, you will see the feasts I explained, and I will show a chart here. But one key thing that is stated in Leviticus and in other parts, I believe in Exodus as well, is that there are some feasts which would be observed in the land, right? And for those who are in the land, like you, Tambile, do your best to observe them, right? Now, you will also encounter that there currently isn't agreement or consensus on the calendar. When do I observe this? Is tabernacles what we call the seventh month? Is that seventh month really July or is it April? There's there's no consensus yet on that. So pray about the calendar issue and observe it when you're at peace observing it. And let's not judge one another. Let's not say, you know, we are not one just because you're observing it in July and I'm observing it in April. No. What's more important is that we are obedient to observe it and that the Most High will show us with time when the right date to observe it is. Now, what happens to people like me who are in the US, who are outside the promised land? Observe those that you can observe, even if you're not in the land. You know, I'm planning to camp in my backyard when it's a Feast of Tabernacles, just because I know
Yes, me
it will
too.
it will impact my kids. You know, we are observing the Sabbath. This is not a feast, but this is just an example of those things. Now, let me show you what these feasts are. And by the way, if you go to Amkeni-Bantu, we just discussed the book of Leviticus and the offerings, and we touched a little bit on these feasts. And I believe the videos are already out there. So you can go through those at your own time. Now let me show you. Here I'll share my screen.